Hello, Ms. Hoeffner's class. It is I, Mrs. Fecto, and I've made a quick video to show you how to find books at the Beverly High School Library. So, as you probably remember from freshman and sophomore year, the way that you find any of the library resources is to go to BHS Online, About Our School, Library Resources. Once you get here, the first tab is Access Catalog here, Find Books at the BHS Library. Once you click on this, you put your search term up in the topic. Let's say you're looking at Woodstock. You click glow. I'm guessing 7 books. Oh my gosh, I'm really good at this. Okay, so this one is terrific. Now what you want to do, some of these, like this one is fiction. Fiction book might be interesting, but it's not going to do you any good. This is about Arab literature. This one here is about American rock, region rock and culture, so it's going to mention Woodstock, but probably not a primary topic. And then we've got these two, King Philip's War, what the heck, and another novel. And then the 60s Reader. This is probably also going to have the Woodstock stuff you're interested in. Up here, this kind of looks like the sweet spot, so let's look at this one. You click on this, and it says that it is available. So what you're going to look at is this. It's the call number. It's on the edge of the book. And what you do is the first 3 digits. That's how you find out what shelving it's in. Most of the history books are actually in the 900s and the 300s. This one, because it's about music, is in the 700s. So you look for that number. Once you get to that, there might be, 30, 40 books that are 781. So you go to the decimal number and narrow it down that way. Once you get to the decimal number, if there are a bunch of books in that section, then you go to the first 3 letters of the author's last name. It's all written down right here. Now here's the thing, we have not done an inventory in a while, so sometimes a book is going to say that it's available and it's not going to be on the shelf. If that's the case, look at the books around it, because often the Dewey number or the call number is going to have similar books around that area. Also, just for your own edification, if you are looking at a book and decide that you don't want to use it, if you put it back in the shelves willy-nilly, it's as good as lost. So if you're done with the book, if you don't know the exact spot it came from, just put it on top of the bookcase, and that'll save issues for other people finding books that may be lost. All right, when you're doing your bibliography, here's the information that you need. When you're putting together, when you're looking at resources, have a Google Doc open. I'm sure Ms. Hoeffner has mentioned this, and just copy and paste all the information about the resources that you look at. Even if you don't use them, you still want to have the information in case you do decide to go back later. All right, this will give you the information to build your citation. There's also a little bit, some of them have more description stuff that can help with your annotated bibliography, but that's what you need. So keep that so that you can get back to it. Should you decide to take out a book, what you need to look at are these. There's you can see a little piece of it here. At the circulation desk, there's an orange clipboard, and on the clipboard it says check out books here. You put your first name, last name, grade, the title of the book. If you're taking out a book for your own purposes and you don't want the title on it, that's fine. Just make sure that the number is very clear so that I don't have to go hunt you down to find out what the book was when I put it in the computer. So there's going to be on the inside of the back cover, 6-digit barcode number. Some of the newer books actually have a 13-digit. You only need the last 6. So just put the last, oh, that's an interesting looking thing. Just put the last 6 in there, and that will, then I can put it into the system and we're good to go. The books go out for 3 weeks. You can renew them as much as you want. If somebody else is not looking for it, you're going to get a really scary reminder that says you've got a book out and you better return it or else. That is not me. That is an automated return. That's an automated email. Just reply to that. I need the books longer and I can renew them for you. Okay, so don't be scared. There are also, just so you know, 2 other libraries in Beverly. There's the public library downtown, and there's another branch in Beverly Farms. Those also have a ton of resources. With juniors, you might want to be going further afield anyway. It is not too early to start looking at college libraries. Endicott, Montserrat, Gordon, and Salem State are all in the same consortium as Beverly Public Library. So you, with your Beverly Public Library card, can go to any of those libraries and use their resources. In addition to having very robust book collections, they also have databases that are research specific, where you can find a lot of really good information. So don't be afraid to go adventuring a little bit. All right, so that's the end of books, and don't forget to use the index table of contents. I'm assuming you know how those things work. Next up will be, oh, you know what? Since we're in books, sorry, it looked like a clean getaway. I want to show you the ebooks in this section. I bought some history ebooks. You're going back to library resources from Salem Press. These are really terrific resources, particularly if you're trying to narrow your focus and you're not sure. You know you want to do something about the Vietnam War, but you're not sure what. This is a great way to A, find primary resources, and B, narrow your focus. You do need a password for this. The password is Beverly Panther. It's not just Panther by itself. If you just put in Panther, it takes you to a different school. Beverly Panther takes you to Beverly High School Library's very robust collection. So you can use the search bar up here if you so desire. You can also browse. So I mentioned Vietnam, so we'll do that one. We have these books in the library, the physical books, but these are them digitized. They look like this. But this is them digitized for your convenience. So even though we're using the internet to get to these aren't websites. These are actual books. So let's say you want to, you want to look at the sort of intersection where civil rights meets Vietnam. So you're going to look at Dr. King's speech, Beyond Vietnam, or article. I'm not actually sure which it is. Sermon. Okay, so there's two pieces to these. The first is a historical document. This is the sermon that Dr. King gave about Vietnam. The information for how to cite that is right here. It was called Beyond Vietnam. It was by Martin Luther King Jr. It was a sermon. This was the date that it was given, and it probably mentions in here someplace where he was. It doesn't say, but I'm sure. Oh, Riverside Church, April 4th. Okay, so that's all the information that you'll need to build your citation for that. Now, in addition to this historical document, there's also this other commentary. That stuff is written by Gerald F. Goodwin, who's some sort of historian or writer, who's writing the summary. He writes why it was a defining moment, a little biography of Dr. King. And then after the document, there is document analysis and essential themes. So this is commentary that that expert has written about it. There's also some additional reading, and down here is the sweet spot. You've got your citation. Now this is the citation for the commentary. You're going to have to build a citation for the historical document itself if you quote both, but it's two sources for the price of one. Chicago style is the same thing as Turabian. I think Ms. Hoeffner calls it Turabian out of respect for Kate Turabian, the woman who created this format. She did it at the University of Chicago. So it's either called Chicago or Turabian. Same thing. There's your citation. You can just copy and paste it. All right, so that's the end of books. I'm going to put this up, and then there will be another one about databases and a brief one about the internet.